Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Right. Does anybody have any questions so far about this self business? Yes, ma'am.
What's the reason of all this? From this very start, and just all this trouble with shadow and
Okay.
be enlightened from the very beginning. It would be wonderful, and all this.
Yeah, but I'm not. That's the problem. I suffer.
Yeah, but why?
Huh?
What's the reason?
Why do I suffer?
So why do you come into this state of suffering?
There's no reason for it. Yeah, why we cannot answer. We can tell you how, and we can tell you how to get out of the problem, but we cannot tell you why the problem is here.
Yeah. Christianity, you have Adam who
You have the devil, don't you? The devil, you have Satan. Satan was a bad guy and he wanted to make it, and so all that. They have their little story. They're just giving a story because there's no reason. And people cannot accept that there's no reason, so they just make up a story. The devil did, Satan did this. The Christians have the same idea. It's called original sin. That's called Maya. It's a very unsophisticated concept in the Christian tradition. Our concept of Maya is very sophisticated, as you can see. You can see it's a creative power. What else is Maya? What else does Maya do? Maya is, Ishwara Maya, the creator, is what? Jagat Karanam. Is what? The creator of the universe, and what? And it's Karma Paladata, which is the topic we're going to take up next, is karma. And the result, action and the results of action. Having explained the self, then we have to talk about karma. We have to clear all of our doubts about karma and action and doership and so forth and so on. So Ishwara not only what? Creates this field, that's they call it, was the creator, Brahma, in the Vedic tradition. Ishwara also sustains us, keeps his field here, that's called Vishnu. He keeps the field going, operating all the rules, and it destroys all the objects in here. There it's called Shiva. All three of those, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, are just the power of Maya, what? Creating, sustaining, and transforming objects. Why? You can't, the why is here in the subtle body. And the why can never know the what? The cause. There's no why. There's a how. We know how it works. And we know how to get out of this dream, out of this projection. That's the beauty of Vedanta. Vedanta is the science. The purpose is not just to describe reality. The purpose is what? To get out of the samsara. And Vedamurti was telling me about somebody that came and said, I'm enlightened, but I just want to know how to get out of samsara. No, enlightened means you're out of samsara. All you have to do is see to solve that problem, see that samsara is in me, and that I'm not in samsara. If you're this, then you're in samsara. But if you're this, then samsara is in you, isn't it? Yeah.
Can you say causality is just a category in the intellect? Right?
Causality, yeah, that's
as
right.
awareness, I see that the intellect and the category of causality is just an object in me. I'm not dependent on the cause.
That's right. Causality is a story. It's a narrative that tries to explain things in terms of time. But there's no time here. Why is there no time? Because reality is non-dual. It's flat like a mirror. There's no separation between the what? Between the mirror and the reflection in the mirror. For there to be space, you have to have a separation, don't you? Where you have a separation, one way you measure that separation is called time. Time and space are just two different ways of measuring objects. But if there's no separation between the clay and the pot, between the wave and the ocean, between the mirror and the reflection, then how are you going to get time? Where are you going to get a story to tell? There's no story to tell. The Neos have got that part right. No, the Neos got this part. That's all they got. They didn't get this part, but they got this part. The science is all lacking, but they know about this, and they know it's all awareness, and they know I am awareness, and fair enough. But they don't take this into account. They just say, there's no doer, there's no ignorance, there's no creation, there's no this, so forth and so on. As if this didn't exist. This is our argument with the Buddhists and the Neos. The Neos are like crypto-Buddhists, actually, because they just want to deny, they just want to say this is non-existent. Tony Parsons, for example, he's a good example. He stands in front of you and he says, I do not exist, you do not exist. That's what he says. Now, he's either an absolute idiot or he's just provoking you. One of the two, who knows? He's just got a clever shtick and he's using it on you to get you excited. Because everybody knows full well that they exist. Don't they? Your awareness is your existence. What is the most ordinary thing for you as a jiva, for you as an individual? The thing that's always present, that you're never apart from, but which you don't think about at all during the day. Breathing is one, although you may if you have problems with your breath. I've got a better one. Gravity. Gravity. Isn't that a good one? Do you ever think about gravity? When you're really, really tired. Oh my God. Yeah, when you're doing push-ups. Yeah, you have gravity. But generally, every day going about your daily life, you don't think about gravity, but gravity is operating on you 24/7. From the moment you're born till the day you die, you're under the force of this gravity. And yet, it's the most ordinary experience, it's the most obvious experience that you have, and yet what? You know nothing about it. And the self is exactly like that. The self is what? It's so normal, it's so ordinary, it's so always present that I just overlook it. And I have what? I don't have knowledge about it. Why don't I have knowledge about it? Because I'm always fascinated by objects. Objects includes my intellect and all the thoughts in it. Like I'm trying to decide whether we should move on to karma or stick with this topic for a while. Yes, sir.
You said yesterday that you can't get this from books, but you're unfolding this with words.
Yes.
So if you put those words in a book,
Well, you see, we're not actually giving knowledge. In other words, you're not gaining knowledge here. We're removing ignorance. Understand? There's a difference. If you think you're going to get this, then who's going to get it? Huh? The Jiva is going to get it, but getting it means what? Knowing you're not a Jiva. The Jiva is going to get it, but moksha is what? It's called jnana karma sannyas. It means what? It's renunciation of the doer by knowledge, the one who gets. So what we're doing here is not filling you up with knowledge. People think, well, okay, that's Vedanta, that's great, I'll learn Vedanta. But you don't want to learn Vedanta. Why? Because Vedanta is not a philosophy that you can learn and memorize. Yes, you could. Many people think of it that way. Intellectuals, they didn't understand that Vedanta was a means of knowledge. And a means of knowledge just removes ignorance. Like with your eyes, you don't learn anything. You just open your eyes and then the knowledge, what removes the ignorance of the form. And then you're just left seeing. That's all. You're just left seeing what is. And so Vedanta is a word mirror. It's the eyes for yourself. That it's a word mirror that takes away your ignorance, but it leaves you. It doesn't affect you at all. It just cleans your ignorance. Now, when you read for knowledge, what is it that selects the knowledge that you take to be, the ideas that you take to be knowledge? Well, when you read, your ignorance of who you are is operating. And that ignorance is in the form of likes and dislikes. That's a duality. There are things I like and things I don't like, aren't there? We're just, in fact, human beings are nothing but bundles of likes and dislikes. And those likes and dislikes apply to everything. That's duality. In duality, some things I like and some things I don't like. That's kind of the essence of duality. Along with subject and object and other things. Right? Psychologically, duality is I like this and I dislike that. They're always together. Now, when I'm reading, and I don't know that if I'm awareness, I don't read to find out if I'm awareness, do I? If I'm awareness and I'm reading, I'll be interested only in reading what? Probably only in reading novels and stuff and watching stupid movies on TV. That's what I do. I'm not interested in reading scripture, because I know I'm awareness. So, and all the scripture's doing is telling me I'm awareness. So I already know that. So I just want to be entertained. So I just watch stupid movies, Netflix and that sort of thing, and entertain myself and enjoy this play. But if you don't know your awareness, then what? You're a jiva and you're under the spell of Maya. Maya's operating, and Maya appears in your subtle body as your likes and your dislikes. And what are those likes and dislikes going to do? They're going to cause you to listen, to choose that bits of information that you get that are pleasing to you, and to reject those bits of information that are what? Not in harmony with your likes.
Is that different in a class, do you think?
Pardon?
Is that different in a class?
Well, remember when we started, I said, this is very difficult. I'm just asking you to listen without judging. Some people in the class can't do that. It's because it's very difficult. But if you actually can open your mind like a professional person and just listen to what's being said, then you'll get the knowledge as it's meant to be. That's why you need a teacher. If you try to read your way to enlightenment, or you just go to a satsang judging and evaluating what you read in terms of what you know already, some of it may be knowledge, some of it may be ignorance. You don't really know. It's just your likes and your dislikes are operating there. When you hear something that you like, then you accept that, and when you hear something you don't like, you reject it.
That can happen in class or when you're reading.
That can happen anywhere. In fact, Maya is two powers. Maya's got Maya actually three powers. Sattva is called the revealing power. Rajas is called the projecting power, and Tamas is called the veiling power. Now, we're going to see now, when we start tomorrow, we're talking yoga, and we're talking sadhana, and we're talking action, and we're going to see there where we're going, and our whole message for the next 2 days is for you to cultivate or develop sattva. Why is that? Because sattva is the revealing power. If your mind is sattvic, it will reflect awareness purely as it is, and you can be able to identify awareness through the reflection of awareness and gain knowledge directly inside from your own experience of the reflection of awareness. That's because Sattva is the revealing power. But we've got two other powers that are operating in us all the time. Remember, creation, all three powers are working all the time. So what are the other two powers that are operating in my mind all the time? And this is true for everybody. Nobody is exempt here. Myself, yourself, everybody. Those two powers, in enlightened people, those powers are operating. But they've been neutralized by what? By the knowledge. By the knowledge I'm awareness. So they're like a fata morgana for an enlightened person. But for a samsari, for a person who doesn't know who they are, these two powers cause us incredible problem, and those are Rajas and Tamas. Now what is Tamas? Tamas is denial. Fear and denial. Rajas is desire and projection. You remember Byron Katie? Did you ever probably everybody in the spiritual world has heard of Byron Katie. She became famous some, 10, 15 years ago with this idea of the work. And her idea, and it's a good idea, is it's called the work. And all it is what? Trying to remove projections. Right, because that's all we do. That Rajas is constantly there projecting what? Reality for us. Our likes and our dislikes are what? Coloring how we view reality. You see, reality and the objects around us are value neutral. There's nothing good about them, there's nothing bad about them. They have no self-nature. We could put it that way. They're just projections. All thoughts and ideas, people is just a thought. A dog is a thought. It's all just knowledge. It's not good thought or bad thought. There's nothing to it. They're just pure objects with no meaning whatsoever. They just are what they are and they don't have any meaning. But when you look at objects through a mind that's not what? Clear or pure, that's under the spell of Rajas and Tamas, then what happens? You project on the objects what's inside of you, and you think the object is what you think it is. In other words, the object conforms to your likes and your dislikes. Some people walk in the room when I'm teaching, and they instantly like me, and some people walk into the room and they instantly dislike me. Instantly. Without even knowing who I am or anything, without me even opening my mouth. I can watch when they walk in the door because I can see people's minds quite clearly. And the one will turn bright and the other will turn dark. The light, that tamasic or that dislike will overcome their mind and they'll have a dark aura. They'll have a dark energy as soon as they look at this object called James. And others, they'll look at this object called James and they'll get bright. They'll like what they see, because Sattva is in their mind, and then they'll think I'm wonderful. I'm neither a wonderful person nor am I a bad person. I'm just the James body sitting here. We don't know what it is. It's just an object appearing in awareness. But I like it or I don't like it. So these two powers, projection and denial. If I see something I don't like, then I deny in myself or in the world, then I deny that it exists. Everybody, we call this the shadow. You may have studied Jung, Carl Jung. He popularized this notion of the shadow. The shadow is just what? All of the content, the negative content of your causal body. It's those things, it's your selfishness, your greed, your arrogance, your fear, all of your pettiness, all of those things in you that contradict your good opinion of yourself. We all have a wonderful opinion of ourselves. We all think we're really, really quite wonderful. And yes, we are, but no, we're not. We don't think there's anything wrong with us. Why? Because Tamas has denied those things. Tamas has shoved those things, concealed those things. It's called the concealing power or the veiling power. It's hidden those things from us because they contradict our view of ourselves. That's called Tamas. And then when we've denied reality, what do? That stuff doesn't, that stuff that is hidden, it doesn't just stay hidden. Because I can't accept it as mine, as belonging to me, what do? I put it on you. So I say, you're a jerk. You're a jerk. Now what that means is, I'm a jerk. Now, you may be a jerk, and if you're a jerk and I see a jerk there, then you're a jerk. But generally, when I'm projecting and I say you're a jerk, what? It means I'm a jerk, and I can't accept the fact that I'm a jerk. I need to what? Throw that projection onto you to relieve myself of the responsibility for that projection. And then I feel fine. He's the problem, not me. Now in Byron Katie's method, it's all about what? Owning projections. Now this is connected to Vedanta, obviously. Because when I read scripture, I'm going to be projecting and denying all the time. That's why I need a teacher. I can't let you project or deny here. I have to tell you what's here. So I know what the projections are about this, and I know what the denials are about this, and I make it very clear so that you can't project or deny, that you have to hear what the knowledge is. That's why you need a teacher. Because I'm not, meaning me as a person, I'm not qualified to judge this. I'm not qualified to like it or dislike it. I'm only qualified to, I can only understand it. That's all. See? And I have to protect the tradition. And that's my job. My job is to keep the knowledge pure and to keep it free of projections. This is why you see I make statements about the neos and various people. Because you see people out there that are putting projections on this that don't belong here. They're not doing it consciously. By its very definition, Maya is unconscious. Rajas and Tamas and Sattva are unconscious forces that are working on, this is your conscious mind. and this is your unconscious mind. And all these powers are operating unconsciously on your mind all the time. This is why we have to understand them. Once we understand what they are and learn to identify them, then what? We can neutralize those projections, and we can uncover these denials and set ourselves free from them. Understand? This is Maya. Talking about now the psychological. Before we talked about the spiritual aspect of Maya and in relation to self-knowledge. Now we're talking about the psychological problems that come because of Maya. And those psychological problems, what? Stand in the way of our appreciation of the knowledge of ourselves. So we've got to understand them. We've got to understand these subconscious forces that are operating here. Yes, Andreas.
You used the term enlightenment sickness. Would you say that enlightenment sickness is a person who may realize the fact that he or she is awareness, but the mind is not purified through the understanding of the gunas? That's
right, that's correct. The ego has co-opted this position. Without what? Purifying itself. Sometimes this happens. It's for lack of it usually happens outside of our tradition. Sometimes it happens. I've had 3 or 4 people in the last 4 or 5 years who got a touch of enlightenment sickness. Well, it happens. Because they didn't stay with it long enough, and they lost faith in me. And so then I started to become the problem for them. Because their egos started to think, well, I'm as enlightened as he is. But I'm not enlightened. See, they didn't know that I'm not enlightened. I'm not enlightened, and I'm not unenlightened. If you ask me, I won't say I'm enlightened, and I won't say I'm unenlightened. If you ask me who I am, I'll say I'm the light. Now, what can you do with that? Can you have a problem with that? No. Because the light's not a doer, a person. A light means I'm awareness. That's what light is, a symbol for awareness. And awareness isn't enlightened, and awareness isn't unenlightened. Now, enlightenment sickness is that Jiva, the ego, claiming that it's this without understanding what it means to be this. So the Jiva thinks being awareness is a special status. I'm special now. I'm unique now. I'm the one that knows this. I'm awakened. You're not awakened from what? From the one who's awakened. You're not free of the one who's awakened. You think you're the awakened one. But you're never, you're never going to get enlightened. Why? Because you were never unenlightened. You were always only awareness, and awareness is always the light. Awareness is always shining. So you didn't start shining at a certain time. You never stopped shining. In other words, you were never ignorant, and you never stopped. You never started shining when you got enlightened, did you? You shone all the time. You shone while you were ignorant, and you shone while you were enlightened. So enlightenment is not something this person is going to get. You can't add awareness to the person. Why? Because the person is already awareness. So enlightenment sickness is what? A failure to understand the whole, is a failure to gain complete knowledge. And we define enlightenment as knowledge of Satya and Mithya. Okay? Satya means awareness, and Mithya means Maya. So until you have complete knowledge of these two factors and how they relate to each other, you're not enlightened. You're not free. This is why we have to explain this. And this is my argument against the Neos. The Neos do not explain this. They don't deal with values, they don't deal with karma, they don't deal with dharma, they don't deal with bhakti, they don't deal with any of these basic problems. And with the structure of reality, they just say it's not real. Or they say it doesn't exist. We say it's not real too, but we say it exists, and since it exists, we need to deal with it. So we don't deny this at all. And in the next 2 days, we're going to talk all about this in relationship to this. And we're going to tell you what you can do as a jiva to live here, how you can live here intelligently with this knowledge in mind. We're not saying this is the end of anything. Everything's going to go on exactly as before. It's just going to be the end of ignorance, that's all. But your life is going to be the same. You're not suddenly going to leap tall buildings with a single bound like Superman when you get to know who you are. Huh? Excuse me? Huh? The women are not going to throw themselves at your feet. Huh? Your bank account's not just going to fill up with money instantly. It's not going to happen. Life is going to go on just as it went on before. Mind you, don't think something special. Oh, yes, Narda.
But what does really change when you realize you are the self?
Just your doubt about who you are disappears. That's all. You just lose the notion that you're this limited person.
So it's not such a big thing.
It's not a big thing. It's not absolutely. In fact, when you get enlightened, quote unquote, you should be ashamed of yourself. Huh? Instead of getting a website and making a big story and running around teaching everybody and talking big on the internet and doing seminars and all that stuff, you know what you should do? Like a dog, you should stick your tail between your legs and you should sneak off and hide. Why? Because all you're doing is saying, I was ignorant for so long. Huh? All your enlightenment proves is what? You thought you were an ignorant person for so long. And you were never an ignorant person. So you're not getting anything here. If your jiva is sitting there thinking, okay, I'm going to get this amazing thing called enlightenment, and then I'm off and running and going to have a great time, then you're wrong. It isn't like that. And then suddenly everything's different.
But on one side, it's a big difference.
Well, it is too.
Because you know you are not motivating the object.
That's right. That's right.
So it's a big thing.
No, it is. It is. And it will transform your life. But not instantly overnight because you're enlightened. Mind you. It's just that you'll no longer what? You'll no longer feed your ignorance. And it's your ignorance that's keeping you bound in this samsara. And so when the ignorance comes up, and it comes up every day, how does ignorance appear? How does ignorance appear? It appears every minute of the day in you all the time. And how does it appear? As your fears and your desires. If you believe your fears and you believe your desires, then you're ignorant. A wise person, a person who knows I'm awareness, has fears and has desires, but what? They don't believe them. And because they don't believe them, what happens? Those fears and desires dry up and disappear. Just disappear. Because what you resist persists. What you think about, what you indulge in, what you resist, those things persist. But an enlightened person doesn't what? It just sees the desire arise, it sees it fall, and what? It doesn't, he or she doesn't act on that desire because he or she knows that desire is just ignorance. That desire will not get me something more than what I already have. That fear will not what? Solve a problem for me.
So what you do all day?
Huh?
So what you do all day then?
No, it's a good question. Yeah. You don't do anything all day because you're not a doer. Huh?
You are.
You are.
Life happens.
Life happens. Yeah. Objects appear and disappear at the behest by the grace of Ishwara, and you don't feel you're doing anything at all. You see that what? All the actions that are operating, are operating by Ishwara, by the gunas, and I'm not a doer. We define moksha, just a minute. We define moksha as what? Neutralizing your binding conditioning, your binding fears and desires, rendering those non-binding, and what? Negating the doer. The doer is what? Understood to be not the doer. Because all the time you think you're doing something, don't you? But what is actually doing? The gunas, Ishwara. Yes, ma'am.
If you don't do anything and just sit around all day, what's the purpose?
That's the doing. Sitting around all day is the doing.
But what's the purpose?
There's no purpose. There's no purpose to doing, and there's no purpose to not doing. Huh? No, okay.
Are you telling us that life is purposeless?
Yes. Life isn't, yes, that we're saying that there's nothing to gain here. You can't lose anything here, and you can't gain anything here. That's what we're saying. Now, the person who asked that question is a doer. The doer wants to do. Now, the doer will always be doing. But the doer, we're going to see this tomorrow when we talk, the doer is not what? Is not the actual author of its actions. No, Nor is it what? The giver of the results of the actions. So are you actually doing when you think you're doing? Enlightenment means I know that I'm not, it looks like I'm doing, but I'm not actually doing when I think I'm doing. Because I understand that what? The gunas are causing action. And that I'm merely what? A witness of the actions. Now, it doesn't mean that an enlightened person can't do. Like I teach. Okay? But what? I know that what? Ishwara is teaching through me. That all the power, the Shakti, the energy, the knowledge, all come from Ishwara, is all operating through me. I have nothing to do about it. It's not mine at all. I didn't invent this, and I'm not doing this. At the same time, I'm doing it and enjoying it.
So if there's no purpose, it's the same if I do or I don't.
That's correct. That's what freedom...
I might as well do it.
You might as well do it. That's correct. Freedom means you can do it, you cannot do it, or you can do something else altogether. You have a choice. That's freedom means. It's, So we're not saying, you just end up like a slug sitting in there. If you want to sit like this, you can do it. And if you don't want to sit like that, you can do what you want to do. You're free. That's the meaning of freedom. I'm not limited by action. I'm capable of action, but action doesn't define me. Yes, Andreas.
In light of the teaching, when I worry about the purpose I can observe as awareness, it's the guna rajas which is asking this question.
Yeah, the guna rajas. That's right. Rajas is the doer. Desire did it. They have a statement they teach kids in India. Desire did it. It's a little poem. Huh? All hail to desire. Anger did it. All hail to anger. Right? So on and so forth. And they run through these emotions, showing you that what? It is not you that did it. You actually aren't doing anything or feeling anything. Things happen, and that causes what? Feelings and emotions and actions to appear. But the one that's causing the action is just Ishwara, the field of existence. We'll see when we start tomorrow on karma and karma yoga. When we talk about karma, dharma, and karma yoga. Because we're going to give the doer something to do. See now, okay? Because you don't want to let go of the doer, right? You want to be a doer. Okay, fair enough. If you see, normally when we get to this point, you should be able to walk out and be free and not bother with anything anymore and just go and live your life. Huh? Because then you'll understand that Ishwara is doing everything, there's nothing to do, and you'll just go right on with your life and you'll be happy. No more conflicts and everything will be fine. But that's not how it is, because the doer is still sitting around wondering what I should do. and there's still what? Desires and fears here locked up in my causal body, in my unconscious mind, that need to be worked out. So we're going to tell you how to relate to those desires and fears and how to live, how to do, with this knowledge in mind. So you can get to the point where, yes, Vedamurti.
I don't remember when, but you told us, I think I understood this, you can't get enlightened until there is karma.
Now say that again.
As long as there is karma.
Karma or comma?
Karma.
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 Yeah.
You can't get enlightened.
No, I didn't say that.
You didn't say that.
No. You get, as long as you're attached to karma.
Attached.
There's always karma. There's karma for enlightened people and there's karma for unenlightened people. But unenlightened people are not attached to karma. They don't see it as a reality. They just see it as an appearance. Whereas, right, unenlightened people think karma is real. Karma exists for those people as a reality. And so they're forced to do, and they're forced to react, and they're forced to what? Interact with objects. No, you can, absolutely.
This is a sentence in the Bhagavad Gita when Krishna said, don't bother about the living and the dying.
The wise grieve neither for the dead nor for the living. Yeah.
This is the meaning.
The meaning is I'm awareness. A wise person is awareness. That the world of karma is there's no reason to grieve for it. Because what? It has nothing to do with you. Ishwara has created this whole thing, and it can't be any other way than the way it is. Our problem is we want it to be different. Because we have likes and dislikes, and we want the world to conform to our idea, we want our environment and the world to conform to our idea of what we want and what we don't want. But Ishwara doesn't care what you want and what you don't want. I'm sorry to say. I'm very sorry. That's bad news, I understand. But Ishwara doesn't care. And if I don't conform to Ishwara, then what happens? Ishwara just runs over me, crushes me, wears me out. That's all that happens. It's totally impersonal. You know, and the ego just hates that. That's why The Secret, you know The Secret? It's been a few years since The Secret was really popular. And it'll be another maybe 8 or 10 years and it'll come back. Huh? About every 20 years that idea cycles. And the secret is about egos that don't want to accept Ishwara. They want to be Ishwara. They want to control the results of the action. And they want to be the ones to get what they want. That's the law of attraction. They want to suck everything and attract everything that they want to them, and they want to repel everything that they don't want, so they stay in control of their lives. It's the biggest dream of all. But they make millions when they sell that, because the ego thinks, oh my God, it's possible for me to be God here.
They're doing trainings. No?
Oh yeah, they do all sorts of things. But nothing changes. Nothing ever happens. And then everybody throws away that book for a while. And they forget about that whole idea. And then later on it comes back again, because they've forgotten that it doesn't work. This reality is not under the control of the Jiva, of you. You're not in control. I know the Germans say they don't like that. But what do they say? Trust is good, control is better. Isn't that right? Oh, that's a joke you have in German. Yeah, no, control is good, trust is better. It's just the opposite. There's no choice but to trust. And when you understand this clearly, when you understand reality clearly, you have complete trust in reality. Your fears just disappear. You know very well that this is a beautiful, benign universe, and that you're looked after and taken care of every minute of the day. So you're relaxed. You just take it easy and enjoy. And do what you do. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, awareness should be the synonym of love. And if there's love and this energy, well, it should be in Shiva, how do you say it, Purusha, it should be in the whole constitution, in the whole system.
Yes, that's correct.
And I don't know why we should be crushed when there's love.
Now you say awareness is a synonym for what?
Of love.
Of love.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Awareness is love.
Yeah. And so everything should be love. And why? In the system you see, if you do not conform, there.
Well, that's because you don't see it as love. If you see it as awareness, then what? Then all it is, the whole thing is operated on the basis of love. If you actually look at reality, love is causing everything to happen. That's what I mean by a benign universe. This is a loving, benign universe. Everything here is taking care of everything else. But it only becomes a loving universe when you understand it. You only see love when you understand what love is. And love is the nature of awareness. Awareness is called parama, prema, swarupaha. The word prema means pure love.
So it couldn't be impersonal.
No, it is impersonal. Love is the same for everybody. Love is not personal at all. When you know what love is, and I know what love is, it's the same for everybody. Anger is this. You don't have personal anger, do you? When you feel angry, you feel the same anger I feel. So when you're angry, I know exactly what you're feeling, because I feel exactly the same thing. When you're jealous, jealousy is the same in everybody. It's just a feeling, it's an energy, it's an experience. And the same is true for love. Love is exactly the same for everybody. That means it's what? It's impersonal, it's Ishwara. It has nothing to do with me personally. It operates through me. I experience it through me, happening in me. But what? It isn't. I didn't manufacture it. I didn't create it. I can't own it. I don't bring it on. I don't destroy it. It just appears and disappears in me. All of the feelings and emotions and thoughts and ideas are just under the control of this factor called Ishwara, the causal body. Yes.
One different question now. So, is this awareness the same as the Brahman now?
Yes.
Another synonym.
Yes, a synonym. The reason I don't use the word Brahman is because it's like the word God. It has a lot of baggage. Huh? And it means big or vast. That's one meaning. So people think that Brahman is big, that awareness is big. That's why I have to tell you that it's ordinary. People hate that. Particularly the spiritual people. They hate to hear that everybody's awareness and that it's just ordinary. Because they think this is some big special thing, because Brahman. Oh my God, Brahman. Para-Brahman. Oh, there's Brahman and then there's Para-Brahman. Now that's even bigger. Well, actually, what? Brahman just means chaitanyam. You know what chaitanyam means? Consciousness. Chaitana, there's another word. Chaitanyam, chaitana, this is chit. That's all Brahman is. Brahman is just chit, awareness, chaitana, consciousness. It's the same. And it's not big or small. It can't be. Why can't it be big? Because it's non-dual. If it's in duality, then it can be big and something else can be small. But what are you going to say Brahman's big with reference to? Nothing, because there's nothing other than Brahman. So you can't, there's nothing other than consciousness, so you can't say it's big and you can't say it's small. Can you? There's a beautiful statement in one of the Upanishads. It says, it's bigger than the biggest and smaller than the smallest. That's Brahman. Means awareness. Yes, somebody else had a... No. Good. Yes.
As often this is a protected area, now in the classroom it makes perfect sense. But when we go home, we fall back to our old patterns and
No, that's right. It does happen.
Is there then some kind of sadhana which we?
Yeah, sure.
Meditation.
Yeah, meditation, study the scripture, inquire. In other words, apply this knowledge. We haven't finished yet. We just got started. We're going to tell you what you can do next. See? But we need to tell you who you are first, and then we need to tell you what you can do to realize who you are. And if you have realized who you are, we can also tell you what to do. Either way. So the next topic is karma and action and doership and what I can do to what? Maintain this vision. And to purify my mind to what? Keep this understanding constant. To make this knowledge permanent and constant in my mind. So that we call it, an enlightened person we call sthitta prajna. It means a person whose wisdom is steady. Whose knowledge of satya and mithya is steady. It doesn't, it's fine here in this situation, you see, it's very fine. But what happens when you go out the door? What happens? Your vasanas, what? We're talking about vasanas tomorrow. Your vasanas, your tendencies, your conditioning, leads your mind away from it. A desire comes up, and off you go. A fear comes up, and off you go. Huh? Just like that. You leave this knowledge, what? And you chase some object, some situation, some action. And then you find yourself all caught up in the karma. You find problems, you start to feel bad, emotions, anger, all this stuff comes up, and say, oh my God, I forgot who I was. And then you try to get back to this understanding again. Well, if you have the right lifestyle, and if you know how to think properly, we call it discrimination. If you know how to discriminate and you can think properly, then what? Your life will become your spiritual practice. And the way you live will keep this knowledge in your mind all the time. Until what? Until all of those obstacles are what? Removed. All of that attachment to what? These fears and desires that are driving you in the samsara. So there's work to be done. But we're saying, don't just run off and start doing work until you're clear about what you're doing. Huh? See, when I go to the spiritual life, I don't know anything. I'm an idiot. I'm talking about myself, and it's true for everybody. I don't know anything. And I'm just this big doer. I just been doing all my life, and suddenly I just wade into the spiritual world, and I go here and there, and I start doing all these things. I read these books, and I do what people tell me. I listen to these gurus, and I go here and there, and I do all this stuff, practices, and so forth and so on. I have no idea what I'm actually doing. I just grab things that I think are going to work, and I start doing them. And we're saying, no, that doesn't, just take it easy. Throw all that out, start over again. Go back to the basics. We'll explain to you the big picture. You get it very clear what the big picture is, and then you'll see what can be done, and what can't be done, and what should be done, and what shouldn't be done, and how to do it. And then you're off and running. This is the instruction manual for your life. This is the picture. This is the user's manual. And this will take you right to happiness, to fullness, to completeness. It's been working for thousands of years. It works today, it worked yesterday, it's going to work tomorrow. It hasn't changed because it works. If it didn't work, it would just keep going through all these iterations and changes. They keep trying to fix it to make it work, but Vedanta hasn't changed. You see in the modern spiritual world, you see all this evolutionary spirituality. Mr. Cohen and Ken Wilber and those fellows. And their idea is what? Well, you see, we're very special, different people here now. See, we're more sophisticated and advanced. We've got iPods and internet, and we're more intelligent, more sensitive, and more evolved than all those people were thousands of years ago. So we don't care about their knowledge. That was just old knowledge that was good for the old people in the old days. But we need new knowledge, new teachings for ourselves now because we're different. I call it the chronocentric argument. In every age, people are chronocentric. That means they think that their age is the most advanced age. And you know something? You're not any more advanced than the caveman was. The stuff around you is different. That's all. The objects in which the field in which you're operating is different, but you are no different from anybody ever. There's only one you. And this you is eternal. And you've always been this, and you're always going to be this, and you're never going to be anything else. And so this knowledge is going to be good for you no matter who or what or where, or the time or place or circumstance. It has nothing to do with time or place and circumstance, because you, the eternal individual, are out of time. Understand? That's the beauty of Vedanta. I got hooked by it, it's been 45 years ago. I can't even remember, it was so long ago. I never ever went 1 inch away from this teaching when I understood what it was. I realized there's nothing like it. Nothing comes even close to it. It is so perfect. Bhagawan has revealed the whole thing and worked it out in absolute exquisite detail. It's not only perfect, it's beautiful, and it's humorous even. It's an amazing science. And all of the Enlightenment traditions in the East came out of this, but they got corrupted slowly, slowly. Buddha was the first one who really started to change it. And Buddha was the Dharma. Well, I don't want to talk about Buddhism, but you can get enlightened through Buddhism. You can. But the vehicle has been transformed and changed and evolved into all these different kinds of means of knowledge. Most of them are just karmic. And the purity of this original teaching has been lost. But it's still kept alive today in India. The lineage I come from is pure, right on down, right from Shankara on down. And Shankara said, I'm a link back. It goes right back to the self. You know, we don't want to believe that, but that's okay. You don't have to believe it. I'm not asking you to believe it. I'm just telling you what I know. And why I'm so committed to it. Because it set me free. In 2 years, it set me free. Less than 2 years. I hung around a bit after I was free to make sure that I was clear. But if you're qualified and you can learn to inquire and gain this knowledge and take care of your own ignorance, then you will be set free by this, no doubt about it. Krishna says that in the Gita, at the end of the Gita. Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vrajaha aham tva sarva papebhyaha mokshayishyami ma suchaha. He says, surrender all this stuff to me. Leave it up to Ishwara. He said, take refuge in me alone. In other words, understand yourself to be full and complete. And take it easy. Ma suchaha. I will take care of your moksha. Moksha ishyami ma suchaha. You will be set free. It's a guarantee. It's a promise. It works every time. Assuming what? The things that we've told you so far. All hail to the great sages. To those people that went before us, who kept this knowledge pure, and who preserved this sampradaya, this tradition, this lineage. If your faith is very strong and you have a burning desire, you don't need this particular vehicle. But you will get this knowledge, however it comes, because moksha is only knowledge. Why? Because you're always free. So there's people in the Amazon jungles who know that they're awareness. There's people in the top of the Himalayas who know there's awareness. There's people driving down the street in New York City who know who they are. And they never studied Vedanta or even heard the word. It's okay. But if you want a fast, easy, clean, simple means of knowledge, then this is it. This is like a Rolls Royce. You say, huh? Believe me, there's nothing better. Nothing even comes close. And it's not ego, I'm saying this. If you want to have a debate with me, then you can debate with me, and I'll show you. I've been 45 years dedicated to this. What was it? It's in 1968 when I came in. This was 68, 78, 88, 98, 108. Yeah, 45 years. This is 2014, 45 years. No, it's 46 years. And I'm not stupid. I'm a smart guy. And when you get something good, you don't throw it away. You only throw away something if it isn't suitable for you. So, okay. Any more questions? We'll save that. We'll start the talk on karma and dharma and karma yoga and bhakti and the gunas and all of that tomorrow. This evening we have a concert, I think. And give you a chance to think it over. Anybody has any more questions, we can do it. Or you just want to sit in silence, we can do it. Whatever you want. Got arguments? We can argue. Got complaints? The complaint department is open. Yes, sir.
You spoke about the Shakti gurus.
Yeah.
Can you explain how that works? and how that appears to be transferred from one guru to another?
It's just like love. When you fall in love. Have you fallen in love? Huh? You notice the Shakti just leaps into you suddenly, like you feel it. A minute before you didn't feel it, and suddenly like the electricity comes, the Shakti comes. When you get around somebody who's in love with themselves, that energy of love, that Shakti, it's osmosis. If you hang around with these people, you get a little close to them in their energy field, you'll start to feel it. The teaching has created the Shakti here. You can feel the Shakti? Can you feel the peace? Huh? The silence? I think you can feel it, huh? Of course you can. That's why there's no questions. I don't even feel like teaching. You don't feel like asking any questions either. Why not? Because you're satisfied. Because you're full. Because the Shakti's in you and you're enjoying yourself. You're enjoying your own nature now. You're feeling happy. You're feeling full. Isn't it? Yeah. What created the Shakti? Jnana Shakti. There's Karma Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Icha Shakti, and Jnana Shakti. All of the whole creation is nothing but Shakti, but we're talking Jnana Shakti. Knowledge has the most incredible power. Desire has a huge power. That's the Shakti of falling in love, is desire. You get those desire going, and then an object connects with an object, then you feel this amazing feeling. That's Icha Shakti, it's called. Kriya Shakti is the Shakti that comes from activity. These are your sports people and the doer people. When they get going in their routine, they get their mind focused on what they're doing, the extreme sports guys and those kind of people, athletes and things. Then what happens? Boom! The Shakti hits them and they feel like, they say, things are just happening, it's automatic. I was in the zone. Yes, ma'am.
The problem is that we do not have any more gurus.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And if you say that scriptures are worthless, to be read.
Well, no, they're not worthless, but you need to be taught. And you can say anything's a scripture. That's the problem. Christians say theirs are scriptures. Well, they are scriptures, but what kind of scriptures are they? As far as knowledge of God, it's pretty confusing to read the Bible, because God says some pretty funny things. Huh? No, they've got a lot of the knowledge of God right in the Bible, but they've got a lot of it wrong too. The scripture hasn't been purified. And the experience of mystics, they may understand the self, but it's only through their own experience, so they're going to not have, their teachings are not going to be pure. They're going to be incomplete and partial. And there'll be bits of ignorance. A good example would be Osho, who later at the end of his life claimed that he wasn't enlightened. He actually said he wasn't. And it was clear from the beginning to me and others that he wasn't enlightened, but he had experiences of awareness. And those experiences were profound epiphanies or experiences of awareness. And his ego co-opted it and thought because he had these experiences that he was enlightened, and therefore he started teaching. But his ego had never been purified. So while there was the truth in what he said, there was also all kinds of ignorance sitting side by side with the truth. And the people that came to him, they didn't know the difference between ignorance and knowledge, so they feel the knowledge and they saw the truth, and then the ignorance is sitting right there, and they swallowed the ignorance along with the knowledge. And they weren't set free. They had great bhakti for Osho and they had great bhakti for the truth, but what? They still were not set free because they couldn't tell the difference between ignorance and knowledge, because he didn't know the difference between ignorance and knowledge. And he said at the end of his life, he said, when I let go of the idea that I was enlightened, it was a great relief. It doesn't mean that he got enlightened when he let go of the idea that he was enlightened. He realized that taking on the identity of an enlightened person when he wasn't actually enlightened was a huge problem for him. Look at how he ended up. It was a sad story to see this man disintegrate slowly, slowly, slowly. The teachings can be inspirational, but the teachings are very confusing if you read them carefully, clearly. If you look at them in light of the truth, then what? You see the knowledge and ignorance sitting side by side. So most of these spiritual traditions are just people's personal experience. That's all they are. Now that can be very inspiring and that can help you and get you going. But it won't take you there all the way. Because you're going to have to remove your own ignorance. I can show you what ignorance is, I can show you what knowledge is, I can teach you how to inquire, and then you're on your own. Then you've got to do the work. Then you've got to get rid of the ignorance. I can get rid of the ignorance standing in my account, but I can't get rid of the ignorance standing in your account. It doesn't work that way. When I get enlightened, you don't get enlightened. Speaking of as if enlightenment was a happening, which we know it's not, but let's pretend that it is. The thing about it is, it's actually so simple. And it's so simple that it's easy to miss. And it's a shame that we have to use all these words and do all this teaching. It's really a shame we have to do that we can't just sit and be happy as we are. But ignorance is hardwired. These beliefs I have, these opinions I have, this unexamined stuff that I have needs to be sorted through. That's what's holding me back. There are no actual barriers except ignorance, and ignorance is a big barrier. And what is ignorance, very simply? It's just the belief that I'm not whole and complete. That's all it is. It's that simple. Just ask yourself, are you incomplete or are you complete? That's all we're asking you to resolve. That's a one simple question. And if you can answer that question properly and understand why you made the answer, then you're free. Because all of the problems are what? Born out of the belief, and mind you, it's only a belief, that I'm incomplete. Is that true? I'm only seeking because I feel incomplete. Is it true that I'm incomplete? Where is the evidence that you're incomplete? Apart from the thought that you're incomplete, where's the evidence? Is there any evidence? Yeah, that's right. There's no evidence. Yet, without evidence, I have this persistent feeling all the time that something's missing here, that something's lacking here, that there's something, I'm not good enough, I'm not pure enough, I'm not something enough. Without any evidence at all, I have this belief. Think about that. That's pretty weird, isn't it?
Yes.
Huh? Yes.
But it looks very evident because of my very strong vasanas. When they are very heavy and persistent over days or weeks, whatever.
Yeah.
It looks so real.
It looks so real. That's right.
I can say.
If there comes a strong vasana, one strong desire,
Yeah.
and I ask, what do you want with this desire? It's a zero sum,
Yeah.
and you're complete.
Yeah.
And
It just disappears.
yeah, and this every day, then you relax.
That's right. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely correct. All you have to do is inquire when the desire comes up and think it through. Huh? The problem is when a strong desire comes, I don't sit back and analyze the chain of karma that's involved in that desire, do I? Huh? Whenever desire comes up, if you actually think it right through to the end, you won't waste your time doing it. Huh? You'll just give it up. You'll say, hey, it's not going to get me what I want. But I believe that this desire is going to lead me to what I want. And what I want is what? To feel complete. And it doesn't make me feel complete. If I get what I want, I don't feel complete, do I?
No.
I feel complete for 2 minutes, 2 seconds or 2 hours, and then what happens? Back comes the same problem. I feel incomplete again, and then out of that incompleteness comes my desire again. And so by acting out my desires, what am I doing? I'm reinforcing the belief that I'm incomplete and inadequate. Understand? I'm making my ignorance stronger. I'm not getting out of the problem. We're going to talk the Samsara chakra tomorrow, and then you'll see how that works. Yes, sir.
Is it the same to the fears?
Yeah, same.
What's about pain?
What?
Pain, really? You feel pain, real hard.
Yeah, I've had a toothache for 2 months. Can you imagine? I had a root canal and dental surgery last week. And I still have tooth pain, headache, toothache. It's very painful. What about it?
I'm feeling pain.
Look at pain and pleasure are the nature of this field.
How can I react?
You can't react. It's not up to you. The pleasure and pain this is another manifestation of duality. In this field, in this Dharma field, there's pleasure and pain. There's good and bad. There's right and wrong. Huh? The pain is part of life. You have no choice but to accept it. If you could do something about it, I've done everything I can, and it's still going on. So I just take pills. I got some pain pills. I'm going to take pain pills. Look, I've done everything else. They've carved me up. I spent an hour in the dentist drilling, and all that stuff. And then he cut it, and then he drilled, and then he put a hole, and he did all this stuff, and then the pain doesn't go away. I've taken antibiotics for 2 months. The pain doesn't go away. Now what am I going to do? I've done everything I could possibly do. I'm going to get depressed and angry and upset because I got the pain. Well, it doesn't help. If anger helped, I'd be damn angry, and then the pain would go away. But it doesn't go away.
But why keep the tooth then?
Well, that's another problem. I thought about getting the tooth, but the problem is that all these teeth are tied to this tooth. And there's no evidence that if I pull that tooth out, the pain's going to go away either, because they claim they've neutralized all the pain in that tooth. It's a dead tooth now. But the pain is... So where's the pain coming from? Well, I don't know. It's your punishment, Ram. You're a bad person. You must. Pain is just part of it.
No, but it's very real. Just now.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pain. I can't do other things.
No, that's right. Exactly.
In this case.
No, me too. I mean, I just had open heart surgery. I couldn't even walk across the street. 6 months ago, I couldn't walk across the street. I'd be dead by now if they hadn't cut me open and sewed in a bunch of new arteries. What to do? That's just part of this samsara. There's no spiritual solution to that apart from just knowing that I'm the witness of the pain. Taking refuge in the awareness. The pain will shrink, but it won't go away. Yes, sir.
Back to the fear.
Yeah.
I got a fear of, if I got the notion to do something,
yeah,
and I got a fear, and I go through and do what I think I got to do.
Yeah.
Is it
it's a good way to get rid of your fears. Yeah, to confront your fears and do them. Most fears are useless. There's a few legitimate fears. You should should know the difference between a good fear and a bad fear, spiritually. You know, if you're walking across the street and a car comes, and you feel fear, that's a good fear. You better get across that street real fast, or you're going to get hit. But all of these silly, petty, useless fears, whether I'm going to be liked or not, whether I'm going to get what I want or not, blah, 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 all those kind of fears, totally useless. And we're going to talk about tomorrow karma yoga, because karma yoga removes fear. In fact, that's what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. That when he's teaching karma yoga, the source of this knowledge is karma yoga. And he says just a little bit of karma yoga removes great fear. Will he explain it to you? You want to get rid of fear and desire? Practice karma yoga. That's our psychology. We've got a psychological practice for you. We've got a good spiritual practice, a great spiritual practice. It's a fundamental spiritual practice called karma yoga. It will take care of your fears and your desires. It will do that. It does. It's worked for thousands of years. We'll see tomorrow how it works. But we have to set up the teaching. I can't just tell you. I have to set it up. That's why you need a teacher. Because all this knowledge needs to be contextualized. So we build a context. We make a setup. And then what? Then with that background knowledge, then what we're telling you starts to make sense. But we have to set this up.
A few hours ago, you mentioned the subtle body.
Yeah.
But you did not mention the three parts of it. Can we talk about tomorrow? What is
Yeah, that's tomorrow.
What is mind?
Yeah, that's tomorrow. We're going to unfold this chakra, this samsara. We've talked about awareness. Okay? Now we're going to talk about this. We're going to explain to you what Maya is and how it works. I call it the mandala of existence. This is like a mandala. Its existence is like a beautiful mandala. And it works a certain way. It's a spinning whirligig of energy that operates very beautifully here, very scientifically. And we're going to explain how that works, because I think I'm here in this world. See? I better understand how this world works. And I better understand what I can do and what I can't do to make my life work for me. If you understand yoga, you might even lose interest in Vedanta. Why? Because you'll get very happy from yoga. That happens to a lot of people. As they get more and more sattvic, they lose interest in moksha because their life gets so good. We call it stuck in sattva. They get stuck in happiness. It's a nice place to get stuck. But actually happiness gets to be a bit boring after a while. And so you want to move on. But let's get up to happiness first and then worry about what's next, you see.
Is it a sense to get happy?
Pardon?
Is our sense in life to get happy?
Yeah, that's what we're doing here, isn't it? That's what you're...
Final sense.
Huh?
The final sense is happiness.
Yeah, that's what moksha is happiness. But it's uncaused happiness. Most people are happy because something happened. That's what happiness means. Something happened and then I'm happy. This is happiness without a cause. I can't find any reason to be happy. I shouldn't be happy. I've got a toothache. Then why am I smiling and enjoying myself here? That doesn't make sense. Huh? Yes, sir.
Would be the Ananda aspect of the Satchitananda then.
Yes. But Ananda, yes, that's right. Depends on the meaning of Ananda. But we'll get to that. There's a whole science. I wish I had 2 or 3 months to teach you every day. Huh?
It's like staying, yes.
Yeah, because it's really beautiful science. I mean, it's amazing. I was with my teacher for 2 years every day, from morning till night. And we started at 5 in the morning. I actually was with him earlier. He usually got up about 3:30 or 4. And I would bring him tea about 4. And then all day long, we'd have a meditation, then a morning class, then breakfast, then a satsang in the morning or another class. Then we'd have lunch together, everybody take naps. Then we'd have 4 o'clock, we'd have a satsang, then the evening class, and then satsang after the evening class. It went on all day long. Just pure Vedanta. From 4 in the morning till 11 or 12 at night, and then up again every day. All over the world. I went around the world twice. It was great. I was so fascinated. I loved it so much. Because I realized that after all that spiritual work I'd done, that I was missing out the most important thing. I had all the experience, but I didn't have the knowledge. The experience was great, and I never went back looking for any more experience when I got the knowledge. But the knowledge completed it. Because we're not here just to experience, we're here to know. The human heart will not rest until it understands what it is, who it is. You will not be satisfied or happy till you understand who you are. It's just a fact. You may take a journey here and there into this and that, but you'll always come back to inquiry into yourself. You'll always have, who am I? What's going on here? What is this world? What is going on? Please, I want to know. It's the nature of awareness. It needs to know. It's a beautiful thing. Seeking knowledge is a beautiful thing. Seek to know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. No experience will set you free. No action will set you free. The truth will set you free. That's why it says, isn't the Bible say that? Seek to know the truth, and the truth shall set you free.
So sometimes there is a seeker vasana, that seeking is more attractive than finding.
Well, yeah. The seeking becomes a lifestyle. A nice sattvic lifestyle. And we get, generally in Vedanta comes to you when you're ready to stop seeking. Because we're not seeking anymore. When you come to Vedanta, you're not seeking. Self-inquiry is the application of knowledge. It's not looking for knowledge. You don't need to know that you're awareness. Does anybody have a doubt about who they are? Good. Because if you do have a doubt, I'll tell you right now, and then you can stop seeking your awareness. Limitless, non-dual-ordinary awareness. So, okay, that's off the table. Now, what does it mean to be awareness? If you have a doubt about that, we'll tell you what that means. And then you can get to work. You don't have to seek anymore, then you can do your work. You keep seeking until you get the knowledge, and once you get the knowledge, your seeking stops. I get all the time, every month, letters from people around the world. My seeking stopped. What is that? I said, well, you got the knowledge. That's why the seeking stopped. You don't need to seek anymore because you understand. Only seeking because I don't understand. And it's definitely possible to understand. Particularly if you have a means like this. If you don't have a valid means like this and you won't surrender to this teaching, then you'll just have to keep seeking. On your own. And you'll go here and you'll go there and it'll never work. You'll get really high when you move to a new place and you say, oh, there's a new teaching. I'm sure this will do it for me. There's a new teacher. He or she's beautiful. I'll get it here. And then your likes and dislikes, your ignorance and your knowledge will start to work there. And then that won't work. And then you'll say, Jesus Christ. And then you'll hear about some other amazing person with some other amazing teaching. And off you'll go over there. And you'll just keep hopping around, going there and there, because you haven't got a complete means of knowledge. So, It's the way it is. Narada.
Does it happen that you, as an example, for a realized, however you want to call it, person, sometimes lose yourself in, for example, anger, or that somebody comes and triggers you, and you're
No. But maybe about once a year I get angry. But I think about it before I do it. I never get angry at myself. I like myself too much. I'm not going to waste time. But sometimes people who violate Dharma, you know, they'll like try to cheat me or lie to me. And then I try to like get them sorted. And if they keep persisting, it'll make me angry. And then I'll think about it for maybe 2-3 days. And I'll get all my arguments in line. And then I'll go at them. And I'll be really angry. And I'll scare the shit out of them. And then it's over. And it always has a good effect. They may never speak to me again, but when I hear about their lives will have improved through that. But I don't get angry, no.
Would you speak to them again?
Sure, always, always. Because you're never angry at the person. As Christ said. Christ was very clear about that. It was a beautiful teaching. He said, hate the sin, not the sinner. A person does bad things not because they want to, because they're driven by ignorance, by their vasanas. That's all. There are no bad people here. There's only ignorant people. Understand? But sometimes you have to stand up to the world. You have to sometimes meet that kind of energy. But no, I don't get angry. It's not worth it. I'm too old to get angry anyway. So I don't have enough desires. I mean, I do have I got angry at Bhagawan the other day for this toothache, but it didn't work. Because I cursed Bhagawan. I said, you know, what is this? I work like hell for you. I teach this damn Vedanta for you. I make people happy. And then you give me a toothache. What's wrong with you? And Bhagawan just ignored me. The toothache kept on going. So what good does it do to get angry? Huh? It's a waste of energy. But once in a while, it does happen. I think once a year I get angry. Well, maybe sometimes I've gone 2 years without getting angry. But I don't get angry. if you know what I mean. Huh? Understand? I witnessed this thing happening in the James entity. I see the James person, and I watch what's happening, and I let it do what it needs to do. I love myself so much that I give myself a lot of room. Give myself a lot of room to make mistakes and to do stupid things. And I still love myself when I make mistakes and do stupid things. It's quite fine. That's love. We're going to explain love in awareness, because we've been talking, consciousness, awareness. Where's the love? You see, Ramji, it's all intellectual. You're just talking about consciousness. Okay, we're going to show you what love is too, don't worry. And how love relates to consciousness. Yes, sir.
I still have the idea that I have to control my thoughts, and it's not okay to get lost in thoughts for minutes and hours.
That's painful. Continually monitoring your mind like that and trying to, that's not good. Just see your thoughts as awareness. Let them be what they are. Just don't attach to them.
Yeah, because in yoga, they tell you have to control your thoughts, you have to be aware, you have to concentrate, you have to be present.
But first, we already made it clear that you can't control your thoughts, because Ishwara is thinking your thoughts, and you're already aware. See, that's the problem with meditation and yoga and Buddhism and these things. They try to tell you that you're not aware and you have to become more aware. We're saying you're already aware. Huh? You don't become more aware. Understand? Now when a problem comes, then you should sit down and analyze the problem. But like all day long watching your thoughts for things, it's so painful. It just saps your energy. You just run out of energy. You can't do it all the time. So if you just follow your dharma and do everything in karma yoga attitude, then when there's a problem, stop and analyze it. And then clear it up in that way. But watching your mind like that, micromanaging every one of your thoughts, it's not. It's counterproductive. It's a waste of time. Just, in Vedanta, we just say, turn your attention away from the thoughts to the self. In other words, look at the thoughts from the self's perspective, and then the thoughts, what? They're managed automatically. Because the thoughts are disturbing because they don't have a big field in which to play. The Buddhists have a very nice metaphor for that. They'll say if you have a cow, you have a big field, and you have a cow, and you let the cow go in that field, the cow will just go to one spot in the field and settle down and be happy there. Huh? But if you put a fence around the cow, if sitting there, put a fence around that cow, then what? He'll always be agitated and always be trying to move and disturbed. Huh? Because the field is so limiting. So, you're letting your ego put a fence around these thoughts is very agitating and painful. Whereas just look at them from awareness's point of view. And awareness is a great, vast field. And then your mind will just calm down. And even the agitations in your mind won't seem like a big deal when you look at them from the point of view of awareness. And how do you do that? All you do is think the thought, I'm awareness. And as soon as you think the thought, I'm awareness, you what? You go to awareness. So the access to awareness is simply through the thought, I'm awareness. You haven't gone there, you've just what? Gone there in the sense that what? You've recognized who you are. And you've assumed your rightful position.
Like Nisargadatta said, the only thing is to remember I am that.
That's right. Not the doer. You see, that yoga's for doers. Now there's nothing wrong with that. Yoga is for doers. See? These are people that have to do something. They're rajasic. So they have to be doing something. So then they tell you, well, you know, you have to watch your mind, you have to chant, you have to pray, you have to do all these things. And hopefully you do them in the right spirit. But in the end, you can just end up with a whole lot of yoga doings, just like you had a whole lot of worldly doings before. Now I'm just a yogi doing all this stuff, and I still am what? Not free. So, you know, analysis of the doer. We analyze the doer because we call moksha jnana karma sannyas. Now, karma sannyas is renunciation of actions. So that's one way you can get your mind a little conscious, a little peace. You can just do less activities. That's letting go of actions. So you do actions, the gratuitous things you don't need to do, you stop doing them, and then the mind just becomes steady because it's not so disturbed by doing. But that doesn't get rid of the doer, does it? It makes the doer more peaceful, but it doesn't solve the problem of the doer. How do you get rid of the doer? This is what we'll talk tomorrow. You get rid of the doer by what? Knowledge. Because the doer is only an ignorance problem. The doer is not a factual problem. As far as action goes, action is happening automatically. So you're not a doer anyway. And you don't have to change your thoughts or watch your thoughts because you're already watching your thoughts. You're already aware of your thoughts. So just let them be. It's a huge release, a huge relief when you stop doing that.
There's one part, in me who wants to observe another part of me.
Yeah.
It goes inside of your body.
That's correct. And how do you know that?
Because there's the self which is aware.
That's right. And you are that self that's aware of that thing happening in you.
It's funny to watch them.
It is funny. It's strange. And you give a more poor Narada a break. See? You're the self, you already know this, so give Narada a break. Say, Jesus, poor man, why is he doing all that? Release him from that practice. No, we want to be good, and we want to be good people. We want to be good yogis. We want to be pure and holy. We're good people. But a lot of this spiritual doing is just what? Busy work. Not necessary. It's trying to achieve something or accomplish something to make myself better, to get something that I don't already have. And we're saying, hey, you're all right. You relax. You're a good person. You're fine. You just got a little ignorance problem here, and we'll sort you out. Yes?
Isn't there any kind of meditation that is recommended by Vedanta?
Yeah, sure.
Because we sit here every morning and evening, and sometimes yoga tells us something, get rid of your thoughts. And what does Vedanta have to do?
Well, Vedanta gets your mind fixed on the reflection of the self so that you can inquire into its nature. I'll show you. We'll do it. We're going to do a meditation. We're going to do a meditation. It's simple. And then you'll see that the thoughts arise and fall automatically. And that you're free of those thoughts, that the thoughts are only objects. And then you'll investigate the awareness of those, and then you'll see that you're awareness and not the thoughts. It's not anything you do, it's just something you notice or observe, and the meditation puts you in that field, in that situation where you can exactly observe the difference between your thoughts and your awareness. No, we're all for meditation. But trying to control the mind through meditation. You can't purify the mind through meditation. You have to purify the mind with karma yoga. Meditation is to steady the mind and fix it on the reflection of awareness. If you're, yes.
Is japa for this a message?
Sure. Japa is great. Japa is I am that. I am that. That's just what? Keeping the idea I'm awareness in your mind all the time. With every bead you say, I am that. And you don't just do it like a formula. Oh, I need to do 5,000 I am that's. No, so that people believe that. They think if they do called a crore is like 1,000,000. So if they do 1,000,000 I am that's or 1,000,000 Om Namah Shivayas, then they're going to get moksha. No. All you have to do is understand the meaning of I am that or Om Namah Shivaya. You understand the meaning, and that will give you moksha, the meaning. But if you continue to, japa is a great practice. I did it for over a year. I started out as pranayami, and then I moved to japa. It was really, really effective because you're basically crowding out all the worldly thoughts. You're replacing all the worldly thoughts with the thought that I'm awareness, that I'm free, that I'm whole, that I'm complete. Because all those mantras just say that. All the mantras just say, I'm fine, I'm okay. And so you take the opposite thought that's in your mind, which is the japa, and you put it in there, and then you chase away the negative thought.
How to find the right mantra?
Any mantra will do. Just understand the meaning. Now the mantra that I give you a mantra, I'm whole and complete. There's the mantra. That'll do it. I am that means I am whole and complete. I am that means, it would have been a better statement. He actually would have been more effective if he'd said, I am whole and complete. It probably wouldn't have taken him so long, because he had to figure out what that meant. Well, of course, I'm going to have to figure out what it means to be complete. Because the meaning of the mantra is what I need to understand. And how am I complete? Well, I investigate myself and I see what's missing here. Again, we said the belief that that something is missing is purely a belief. There is no evidence that there's anything missing in you. What exactly are you missing, by the way? Would you like to Would you like to tell me what's missing? You got a body, you got a mind, you got emotions, you got food, you got air, you got a teaching, you got everything. What the more? Tell me what more you want.
More.
Always more, more, more. The problem is what? The more voice. That's the problem. More, better, and different. That's the ego's constant refrain. Want more of it, better, and different.
And in terms of the chakras, you can say more sex, more love, more enlightenment.
Yeah, more and more and more and more and more. It's just that empty, needy, that's ignorance. We call that ignorance. It's just the dissatisfaction that comes from the feeling that what? I'm not okay. And it's just totally no evidence. It's purely ignorance. Hey, look at, on the basis of what do you say you're lacking? There's no basis. It's purely a belief. Well, okay, if you accept that belief that you're incomplete and inadequate and lacking, then why don't you accept the belief that you're whole and complete and beautiful and pure and perfect? Okay, never mind. We don't have any evidence of that. Huh? Huh? No, but you got a choice here, don't you? You can choose to think that you're incomplete, or you can choose to think that you're complete. Choosing to accept this knowledge is what is moksha. All you have to do is choose to accept it. It's up to you. You don't have to believe this. You want to believe this for some reason. For some reason your whole life is based upon the notion that there's something wrong with you, that something's missing. And we're saying, well, hey, believe that there's something right with you. It's just as easy. It's more easy, actually. Because when you think that you're okay, then you realize that you are okay. Because you are nothing but the thought that you have in your mind at the moment. You're only what you're thinking at the moment. That's all you are, as a person, as a jiva. Whatever thought is manifesting in you at the moment is what you are as a jiva. And you have control over those thoughts if you want to. If you don't want to control over those thoughts, then what? Just leave it up to Ishwara, and Ishwara will tell you you're an idiot. You're incomplete and inadequate. All that ignorance, Ishwara will tell you. Okay, 6 o'clock, time to quit. You all got your enlightenment now? I'll give you your certificates in the morning.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.